Shadow sightings. Shadow ghosts have followed Layla since childhood, silent, watching, never leaving. I have actually seen shadow people before. When I was little, I lived in a house that was considered to be haunted, and that was where I first started seeing them. I would see them on the stairs leading up to my bedroom, in the doorway to my sister's room, and even in the bathroom right next to my room. As I got older, I became more accustomed to seeing them. Eventually, I got to where I would either see them less, or when I did see them, I wouldn't be as afraid. However, when I moved from the house, there was a brief period of time when I didn't see them. When I started seeing them again, though, I kept getting the eerie feeling that something was very off. Since then, I see them everywhere after dark. I could be at a friend's for the first time, out in public, in a dark room, or even walking outside, and I can still see a few here and there. It eventually got to the point that I had to keep my closet door and bedroom door shut and sleep in a pitch-black room, because I used to wake up in the middle of the night and see one sitting there in my closet watching me. It is pretty scary when I see them simply because I've never been able to figure out why I can see them or why they seem to follow me. I've never physically been attacked before, though. While having a sleepover with a friend, out on her back lawn in a tent, two hands appeared right over my head and pounded on the tent, scaring the crap out of everyone. I have seen shadow ghosts in my dreams, too, in the same scenarios. They never approach me or harm me. Instead, they just watch me. A friend of mine claims that I haven't been attacked because they have already had my attention before. It would get to that, and I highly doubt I'll stop seeing them either. Shadow touch. Ember touched a shadow ghost, and now they won't leave. This, the following, is a slight traumatic experience I have been through. I can't remember the exact time of day when the event occurred, but I know it was barely bright outside, so maybe early morning. I had woken up to get something to drink. I got up and walked a few steps away from my door. When I was about to turn the corner, I saw a very dark figure, dark as night. I stood there looking into it for a short while, and something kept telling me to touch it. I don't know why I would do that, but I did. I stuck my hand into blackness, and my entire hand was swarmed with the feeling of what seemed like small, painful pulsing shocks that crept up my arm. I can't remember anything that happened after that, but I keep seeing black figures wherever I go now. I know for sure it wasn't a dream. Shadow static phenomena. A gentleman can see and use shadow static, something that has power and can repel bad energy. This is just a mixed tale of what I've been through and some weird things I'm working on, or with. Hopefully you'll find this interesting, maybe inspiring you to share stories and experiences of your own. Static-like energy. Let's start with the static that I see and move. Since I was young, I asked about a fuzzy static-like thing that I always saw at night and that I see around other people, myself, objects, or places. I was told it was just snow blindness, but I didn't believe it. My eyes have always adjusted to the dark very fast and can deal with changes from light to dark pretty well, better so than most people I know. To find answers, I looked into auras and spirituality, eventually, after I was older and had the internet available. This led me down the path of meditation, along with looking into various things from several religions. I had come to a point that I could move the static around my body and shape it to extensions of my body, and that made me happy. But it was also something very calming and soothing to just have it be like water flowing around me, calming and serene. One day, while out hunting with my father, I was doing my usual habit of playing with my aura to relax me. So, I decided to take a leaf from the tree I was in and see what would happen if I tried to pour energy into the leaf and then draw from it. Being a leaf, I didn't think much of it. But after a while of holding the leaf and not feeling much difference, I looked at it, and the solid green leaf had a dead brown spot from where my index finger and thumb had been. I repeated this 2 more times, picking leaves off the tree and making sure they were green at the start to receive the same result. I stopped trying this and decided I shouldn't gather energy from plants anymore, since it looked like it killed them. I decided to stick with the air, land, and any other non-organic thing that generates energy. Haunted places. I have been to many places that were supposedly haunted, but have never experienced things while there. But I have gone to people's houses who have told me that after I had been there all, supernatural, activities stopped for a few weeks before coming back. Now I make no claim to be a holy man or priest of any sort. I am just a curious person, which carries on to my next story. Aura reading. When I was 14 years old, I had my aura read to me. The results were blue and gray. I was shocked when I was told this, since in almost every spiritual belief, the color gray is representative of harm, illness, pain, and death. I had noticed that within the next few years, that several members of my family had gone to the hospital for various reasons. But out of the 7 that were serious, I visited 5, all of whom died within 48 hours. Those 5 had suddenly worsened in condition to the point of proving fatal. Power over spirits. What began as a partial joke, for me, turned to becoming information that hit my heart and made me evaluate myself as a person. A group of my friends and me were talking, and one of them brought up spirits not interacting with me and staying away from wherever I've been for several weeks. One of them, who practices Wicca, told me that things don't usually challenge other things that are stronger, also making the comment, "Maybe you're just more evil than them." It might not seem like much, but I really did look through and evaluate myself. I don't do wrong on purpose or try to cause people pain. It just seems to me I was born with an unlucky aura, and so I just try to stay positive. Bigoted ghosts. Haunted by racists? One of my best friends is a Christian, living in a nearly 200-year-old house, and has had relatives of the past in the KKK. He himself is not hateful or a bigot, but says the house is haunted. Usually, whenever any of our Black or Hispanic friends go over there, they say that they feel like they're being watched and that there's something that feels really bad about the shed in their backyard. One time when it was just him and his girlfriend, who is Black, they had an alarming experience. They were coming home from school, and when they walked in and set their stuff down, they said someone shouted, "Get that N asterisk 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 out of my house." There was no one in the home. Shadow figure and the gray aura. My girlfriend says there's a shadow figure in her room a lot, and that she has had many vivid nightmares of horrid dark masses hurting and consuming her. One time, while cuddling with her in her room, she fell asleep laying on my chest. I was enjoying myself, but then the room got cold. She got an expression of pain on her face. I looked up, and in part of her room, an odd shadow figure was there. It felt very dark. Now, there are very few times I have actually tried to focus on my gray aura, since it is considered unhealthy, but this was one of those times. I focused, drawing all the aura I could from myself, the shadow being shifted backwards. I was angry, just about snarling with rage, and I couldn't explain it. But as I tried to draw more energy, it shifted back again and dissipated very rapidly. Then I calmed down, but felt as if I had the slight sensation of numbness throughout my body that didn't go away for almost an hour. The shadow thing has not come back since, and my girlfriend says the house feels better now. Crawling shadow form. A shadow girl crawls the halls, and now others see her too. We moved into our house 3 years ago. I would tell my mom how I would see what looked to be a little girl in the hallway, peeking around the doorway into my bedroom. At nighttime, when I was looking at the TV, I would see her out of the corner of my eye. I never would look directly at it. Almost every time I would see her, my husband would be asleep. Everyone thought I was crazy until the time when my mom stayed at our home overnight. She said she woke up and saw me on my knees, crawling around her bed. She got up to see what I was doing, but no one was there. Do you think it's a ghost or shadow person? Because I know it's something. Shadow person. A shadow man stood at Joshua's bed and leaned in. Around April or May, I found that I was going to sleep every night very scared. I did not know why I should be scared, but I was. One evening I woke up at around 3 in the morning. I was very scared, so I did not open my eyes. Needless to say, I felt almost forced to do so. My body was almost frozen in place due to the amount of fear I had. I looked towards the end of my bed and noticed a dark figure of a man standing there looking at me. I knew at that point it couldn't have been anyone in my house. I lived in the basement we had finished, so I would have heard anyone coming down the stairs. I tried so hard to shut my eyes, but I simply could not. I can't even compare the fear I had to anything else. I finally managed to shut my eyes for a few minutes, but again, I felt almost forced to open them. When I opened them, I saw the same figure, except it was very close to my face and looking at me. After this point, I can't remember what happened, so I think I must have passed out because of being so terrified. Since then, I have moved out of my dad's house and have been much better, but I still get tears in my eyes when I tell someone what happened to me. Nothing so far comes close to the fear I had experienced. For yourself and for others whose stories you may never fully understand. Until now, download Whisper's Guide, angelsghosts.com. Not all visitors from the other side come to scare. Like this video if you believe. Subscribe for more true stories. And tell us your experience in the comments.